Hi, hello, future bureaucrats of India. Welcome to LearnStroke IAS Crack Prelims 2023 Prelims Test Series discussion. As you know, we have a test series discussion rightly sourced from newspapers, magazines, and current affairs. We have 5 questions. You'll answer the questions with me, and then we'll discuss the explanations for that. So let's go to this set 3's first question. Here we go. Consider the following statements regarding 5G O-RAN or Open RAN, something that came in the newspaper because 5G technology is something that everybody is talking about. So which of the following statements regarding 5G Open RAN are correct? Option number 1. A RAN is a radio access network which is a major component of a wireless telecommunication system that connects individual devices to other parts of a network through a radio link. So that is what is RAN is all about. Number 2, the Open RAN or O-RAN provides more flexibility and agility to service providers deploying 5G technology. So now everybody is going to talk about 5G technology. So for 5G technology, O-RAN gives more flexibility, agility, etc. Statement number 3, the current RAN technology is provided as a hardware and software integration platform, but O-RAN, Open RAN, is a multi-supplier RAN solution that allows for separation and disaggregation between hardware and software. So simply putting, it creates more flexibility and innovation for the whole system that deploys 5G. So 3 statements from current affairs. How many of you have heard about this 5G O-RAN or Open RAN? Please comment below. And let's see what happens here. What is the answer? 1 only. You have to select the incorrect answers. So you have the keys here. Find out the incorrect answer. 1 only, 2 and 3. Neither 1, neither 2 or 3. Lock your answers right now. Which of the following are incorrect regarding 5G or RAN? So now let's discuss the answers. So statement number 1. A radio access network is a major component that wireless telecommunication system which connects individual devices to a network through radio link. Absolutely right. That is what is called as a RAN. And O-RAN gives more flexibility and agility for 5G technology. Compared to the existing RAN, 5G technology prefers O-RAN, which is more flexible. Statement 2 is absolutely right. 2. Third statement. Current RAN technology is provided as a hardware and software integration, but O-RAN definitely allows the separation and disaggregation of software and hardware and gives more flexibility. Statement 3 is also right. So the answers is, which of them is incorrect answers? Neither 1, 2 or 3. So check the answers. Neither 1, 2 and 3 is correct. All of them are correct. And let's see why this question was asked. You can see a PIB article and newspaper articles which say major step for indigenous development of 5G Open RAN under Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative. The government is looking forward for that. And what is C-DOT? Let's give you more important aspects regarding this. The Center for Development of Telematics, which is called as C-DOT, is a premier R&D organization for the Department of Telecommunication. So next time when you hear something about C-DOT, it is a Ministry of Department of Telecommunications and Ministry of Communications. And you can see the O-RAN has become very easy for 5G technologies, and there is an important alliance called as O-RAN Alliance. That is a group that is defining the specifications of radio access networks. So in short, you can see that the RAN system, you can see I'm giving a small description and the link below in this comment section. If you want to read more about O-RAN from basic scratch, you can read this article. I found this blog very interesting. I'll put the link in the comment box. And before we move on, how does O-RAN really help? Because to understand that, you need to understand this present, the wireless network architecture has to be studied. And you see that the present system, the radio access network, is actually a closed interface. So there is a closed interface, and between the radio and the baseband units, you can just see it is a closed interface. And what happens is, in this closed RAN system, what happens is a service provider cannot mix and match the vendor components to create an optimal solution. So there is a very much limitation involved in this. And whereas you can just see this slide, Whereas in the ORAN, the Open RAN, you can see the closed system is not there. Everything has opened up and there is an interconnection between this. So there is more chance of mix and match for the vendors and the service providers to get an optimal solution. So this is very much important. This is the modern, the modern wireless network architecture, which is very, very good for the 5G technology. So read more about this. This is a bit of science and technology involved in this. If you don't follow this thing, you can read the article and read more about this. So that is how. And cost wise also, you can just see here, it has also cut down if ORAN will also cut down a lot of infrastructure cost for this 5G technology. So the answer was this. So read more about C-dot 5G technology, read what is 5G technology, find out what is the difference between 3G, 4G and 5G. That can be a question. Find out the differences and also read about the ORAN. Let's move to the next question. Here we go. Durum is a term which appears in the news. So recently the term called Durum was in the news. Which of the following statements are correct regarding it, which is called as Durum? Okay, A. It's a type of biofuel developed in Africa that faced rejections in the World Trade Organization, WTO, recently. B. It's a passage way in the Mediterranean Sea. Something to do with passage. Option 3. It's a type of wheat popular in European Union, in Europe, which is mainly used to create and produce pasta, your favorite food if you like it. D. It's a historical tribal community in facing an extinction in Egypt. So 4. Either it is a biofuel or it is a passage in the sea. Third, it is a popular wheat which is used to make pasta in the Europe, or it is a tribal community facing extinction. So what is your answer in this? If you have read the newspapers, it is actually occupying news. So what do you mean by Durum? Let's check out the answer. The answer is not a community, not something to do, not a biofuel, and not a passage. The answer is, it is a type of wheat popular in the European Union, which is mainly used to produce pasta. You know why this question was asked? Let's the newspapers and articles regarding this. So you can see, the price of European Union durum wheat in the international market is 39.5% higher than Indian wheat. This was the news item. So that obviously brings the durum wheat is mainly used to produce pasta, and the soft wheat is usually used to bake foods and etc. So read more about the EU durum is actually a type of wheat. So this is the reason why we got the question here called as Durum, a typical classic UPSC question. Moving on to the third question, here we go. Consider the following statements regarding Vaccine Maitri initiative. India has been in the forefront in creation of vaccines, and consider the following statements regarding Vaccine Maitri initiative. 3 statements. India launched the Vaccine Maitri or Vaccine Friendship initiative, a major diplomatic effort to gift and supply made in India, that's the key, made in India vaccine to low income and developing countries globally. Statement number 1. Statement number 2. In accordance with the neighborhood first policy, Bhutan and Maldives became the first 2 countries to receive the vaccines. Okay. Moving on to the third one. Bangladesh, Myanmar, Mauritius, China, Sri Lanka, Brazil, Morocco, Mexico are some of the top beneficiaries of the Vaccine Maitri initiative. So the answer, select the correct answers. The options are 1 only, 2 only, 1 and 2, 1, 2 and 3. Read the question carefully. There is a clue. If you can figure out that clue, then you will solve this question. Aha, I see that you must have got the clue. So let's see. India launched the Vaccine Maitri initiative, major diplomatic effort by India to gift and supply made in India vaccine, absolutely true, to low income and developing countries globally. Perfectly right. Correct statement. Statement number 2. In accordance with the neighborhood first policy, Bhutan and Maldives were the first to receive the vaccines. Correct. That's also true. Bangladesh, Myanmar, Mauritius, China is the word. Sri Lanka, Brazil, Morocco, Mexico are all top beneficiaries. So China is not a beneficiary of that. So 3 was wrong. If you could have eliminated 3 inside this, D would have gone. So there, that gives you an option of 3 options. So elimination was with China, you could only eliminate D. But again, the first 3 options will continue. So China was not a top beneficiary of this Vaccine Maitri initiative because China apparently criticized India, and they said, the Chinese people said that India was creating a low quality vaccine and supplying it to the whole world. That was the criticism that China gave us. And let's see the answer. The answer is 1 and 2. The first two statements are right. And why this news is there? Because you know what happened? Japan Prime Minister Kishida pledges 50 billion investment in Indo-Pacific, hails India's vaccine diplomacy. India ready to lead global healthcare, says the Mandavia. So minister always says we are ready. Initially, this was a great effort started by the government, and what happened after some time, the initiative, the Vaccine Maitri, stopped for some time because we were running short of supplies in India. So that was a point when India was unable to send vaccines to other part of the world. So what happened automatically? Many countries, especially Bangladesh and so many other countries in Asia who were depending on India, fell short of supply, and they actually went for China to get the vaccines. So this was the history, and even you will not believe the Brazilian president Jair Bolsonaro thanked Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi for sending the medicines, and the Brazilian Prime Minister made a famous statement that India is just like Hanuman who gave us the Sanjeevani. So I think I'm really amazed to know that even Brazilian people know about Hanuman and the holy Sanjeevani hill. So that was a reference that the Brazilian Prime Minister made, and the Chinese people, they attacked India, spreading lies, saying that safety, efficacy and capacity of India to produce vaccine is adequate and it is of low quality. So this is, and after some time, the Mission Vaccine Maitri initiative was a great initiative. It was launched, but after some time it has to stop. It had to stop, and now the government says that we are even ready to take it forward. So this was the news of Vaccine Maitri initiative. So read more about this. Now let's move to the fourth question from Current Affairs. It is being discussed. Everybody is talking about the Rajya Sabha election. Consider the following statements regarding Rajya Sabha election. 4 statements, read it carefully. The Rajya Sabha polls have a system of open ballots, but it is a limited form of openness. Statement number 1. 2. After the voting, the MLA should not show the marked ballot to authorized or other party agents, as the secrecy of the ballot gets compromised. 3. No voting for party candidates. Not voting for the party candidates will attract disqualification under the anti-defection law. That means if you do not vote for the party, there is an anti-defection law. 4th one, the Election Commission of India introduced the Nota button in the polls respecting the choice of MLA. So tricky questions, you have to read carefully. What are the answers? 1, 2 and 3, 1 and 4, 2 and 4 and 2 and 3. First statement, the Rajya Sabha polls have a system of open ballots, but it is limited form of openness. True? Yes, it is true. The Rajya Sabha follows the system of open ballots. And what do you mean by open ballots? That means the balloting system, it is completely open and formal. It is not like the secret system. Everybody can see this, and what happens is sometimes open ballots are criticized for, when you make a vote, it is being criticized by the other people for making that choice. So your choice sometimes get criticized in open ballots. In Rajya Sabha, we follow this open ballot system. After the voting, the MLA should not show the marked ballot to authorized or any agents as securities. This statement is absolutely false. Because before this, you have to show the marked ballot to the authorized agent of your party. We'll come to that question. Statement 2 is wrong. Third one, not voting for the party candidate will attract disqualification under the defection law. There is no defection law inside this. It was previously there, but now the defection law doesn't stand. The party, whether to vote or not to whichever party is the person's MLA's choice. But there is no way you can actually create a limitation that this a party should take a disciplinary action on that. 4th one, Election Commission of India introduced the Nota button in the polls respecting the choice of MLA. Absolutely true. The Election Commission did launch Nota in Rajya Sabha election, but later on Supreme Court orders, it struck down and said that this is not the Lok Sabha election where it is actually based on the universal adult suffrage. It is actually based on the proportionate voting, and that is why the Nota should not accept on this. That the Supreme Court gave a notification on this. So what is the answer? Let's see the answer. 1 and 4. The second and third statement is absolutely wrong, and why this thing came in the newspaper as everybody talks about Rajya Sabha election, and let's see, only the state legislative assemblies can vote in Rajya Sabha election and MLAs can vote in. The MLA shows his or her marked ballot to the party's authorized agents before they are put into the ballot box. They show this. Showing a marked ballot to anyone other than their own party authorized agent is disqualification, and even not showing the ballot to the authorized agent is again your vote becomes invalid. Please remember that, and the vote will not be counted. And the Supreme Court declined to interfere in the defection part, and they said that it is their choice, and they said no disqualification under anti-defection law. And the party is free to take disciplinary action against the legislator concerned who may not have voted for the party. So it's up to the party. Supreme Court refused to. And the nota, Supreme Court struck down the provision of nota button for general elections held on the basis of, and cannot be applied to indirect elections based on proportional representation. So Rajya Sabha is based on indirect election on proportional representation. So nota will not be applied. But the statement here, you can read the question. The Election Commission of India introduced the nota button in the polls respecting the choice of MLAs. This statement is right. I did not say that the rule is still binding. Election Commission did start this thing, but later on Supreme Court, struck it down and they striked it off, and that is not in the option. So the Election Commission definitely released it. That is true. So statement number 1 and 4 is right, and in the context of Rajya Sabha election, there are many other things that you should definitely know. So if a person hasn't taken the official oath, can he contest in the election? There are many other things that you have to read more on the Rajya Sabha election from polity and governance. So let's move on. That is the reason why we asked, and let's move on to the last question of Crack Prelims 2023, the 5th question. Which of the following are countries included in the Pacific Island countries or the PICs? Current affair question. Fiji, Papua New Guinea, Seychelles, Republic of Marshall Islands and East Timor. Which of the following are correctly included in this? 1, 3, 4, 5, 3 and 4, 2 and 3, 1, 2 and 4. Please carefully read the question. There is a clue inside this. If you know your geography, this is how UPSC frames question, and you have to think. If you lock your answers, there is a clue inside this. The clue was, what is the answer? The clue was Seychelles. It's Pacific Island countries. That means you have to think in the Pacific Ocean. The Pacific is the clue. And if you know, Seychelles is not to be seen here. Seychelles is not a part of the PIC. That is why if you eliminate 3, option A goes, B goes, C goes. By default, the answer is 1, 2 and 4. Fiji, Papua New Guinea, Republic of Marshall Islands. And even if you know, East Timor was not a part on this. So why this question was asked? The Pacific Island countries, why they asked this question? China's growing footprint in the Pacific. China's Pacific two spurs hope and fears tiny islands. China and Pacific Islands unable to reach consensus on security pact. So China is taking this Pacific Islands stretch very seriously for strategic reasons. We'll make a more complete video on why China is looking forward for Pacific Islands for international relations. So please wait for that. And let's see, the Pacific Island countries are basically a cluster of 14 states. So which are the 14 states? Largely located where? It's located in the tropical zone of the Pacific Ocean. Very important, such questions are important. Between Asia, Australia and the Americas. So it's actually a tropical zone in the Pacific Ocean between the Asia, Australia and the Americas. 14 countries include Cook Islands, Fiji, Kiribati, Republic of Marshall Islands, Federated States of Micronesia, FSM, Nauru, Niue, Palau, Papua New Guinea, Samoa, Solomon Islands, Tonga, Tuvalu and Vanuatu. So these are the countries. So have a remembrance about this because elimination can be easy. On the basis of physical and human geography, this region is further divided into Micronesia, Melanesia and Polynesia. This is very popular. So it's when you see Micronesia, Melanesia and Polynesia, this is divided on the basis of human and physical geography. And why they are famous? They have the largest exclusive economic zone in the world. Sometimes you can say much larger than India. And that is the reason why China is looking forward for this region. So we'll deal more about this. So this was the question and I hope you can eliminate the countries easily. Look at the map. You can see the Pacific Ocean, the Pacific Islands countries. So that was the end of The 5 questions for, crack prelims 2023. Read more from the current affairs, and for a strategic civil service preparation, follow us, LearnStroke IAS. We'll come up with more such questions. So in the meanwhile, subscribe the channel LearnStroke IAS for more such videos, and share it with your friends who are preparing for civil services. Let's study together and let's crack it together. Thank you so much.